On today's episode, we go full Ian McDiarmid and Sam Witwer as we give our final reading of From a Certain Point of View month with Then Fall, Sidious.
Yes, of course, we'll be taking your calls live if you'd like to call in and talk about anything your heart wants to talk about. Next week, we're bringing back the mix-up to talk anime with Freddy's roommate and introducing Tales of Light and Life month leading up to Phase 3 of the High Republic.
That's right, to prepare ourselves for the incoming High Republic phase, starting with The Eye of Darkness releasing November 14th. We'll be reading stories from Tales of Light and Life each week this month.
So, hold on to your butts. This is Dyad and the Force.
The light force of your bond. A power like life itself. Unseen for generations. A Dyad in the Force.
Ho, 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 everybody. Welcome to another episode of Dyad in the Force. That was a little early, but I'm a Filipino, and it seems like Christmas is already here. Episode 140. We're getting up there in the episodes. Choco, what's going on, man?
What's going on is apparently I missed a very good conversation with Fern and Elizabeth, and what was I missing earlier?
Oh, we're just catching up. You know, Fern has been taking an internet break, but also we're talking about you know, the stories they've been reading. They read the story about Vernestra in Tales of Light and Life. It's the only story they've read. So much like our situation, we've been slacking on reading those short stories.
Finished.
Oh, you finished?
I did finish all of them.
As soon as you said it, your mind was like, no, I can't be like this.
Yeah, so I dug in and finished those. I'm still bummed because I still have, I mean, it's just an ever like going thing. I still need to read Crimson Climb, but yes, because it's so far off, haven't been reading it, and I know it's gonna happen. I'm gonna hit the release date, and I'm not gonna have read it.
This is true. When does Crimson Climb release? Is it an October book?
I thought it was a November book. Is anyone in the chat now?
We could look it up. Like,
looking it up right now. Okay, looks like it is an October book.
So that's the one. That's the next one that I realistically have to read. Obviously, it's
October 10th.
It's not something that we can read live, simply because it's a whole ass book. We read each week as sort of like an excerpt thing from a certain point of view, or Tales of Light and Life. It's also a chance for us to get together with everybody who is tuning in to have also read it. You know, it's we're doing this so that people who would not normally have read those stories will have read it by proxy. Darthman says, "I'm lurking. Sorry, guys. No worries. Your viewership is appreciated nonetheless." We'll be reading Then Fall, Sidious, and then we're going to be reacting to TikToks live yet again, because that's such a fun thing to do. When we get onto that one TikTok that we haven't seen yet, that is, we actually have some suggestions from Stanzi, who may make the effort to call in and be a part of that reaction. So it's going to be interesting.
That'd be
fun. Some news. Let's see here. Some news from the picket line. As of 9:59 p.m. Yesterday, the AMPTP and CEOs from Netflix, Universal, Warner Brothers, Discovery, and Disney ended a day of talks that has made progress. The WGA says that they are close to a deal but have not struck a deal. So we continue to wait for the next day of talks, which is not scheduled yet, but they are committed to coming back to the table and trying to strike a deal. And that, of course, is desirable.
Yeah, it's good news. We are very hopeful that we'll get some solid progress. I mean, the fact that they're coming back means that there is a conversation happening, and that's beyond the phase of just being offensive to your workers because they don't want to live paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's safe to say, with all of the numbers coming out the last couple of weeks, with the harsh reality of a company losing $500 million in revenue, and with the reality that could have paid for their proposal for the next 3 years, is like, we do make a lot of money, but we lost it this time. So it's interesting to think about if any of these studios are hurting, and if it's finally hitting home. That I've always said this when we're talking about capitalism, whatever. It's I'm not 100% against capitalism. I'm against greed and excess. So if you want to make money, if you want to be the next inventor and want to sell to Facebook for $1 billion and make yours, make it. But the whole thing about companies prioritizing the bottom line to the point where they will terminate people and lay them off to keep it up when they're still profitable, it's you're getting greedy at this point. What is so bad about being profitable? Well, you're not making more profit. That's the whole thing. It's we need to increase profits. I'm like, geez, you guys are already making millions a year in salary.
Yeah, and I'm largely in the same boat because it for me it largely stems from the shareholder aspect of corporate ownership. Mm-hmm. When you have these people who are disconnected from everything, who are expecting greater profit regardless, and they're the ones who are profiting off of everyone, so everything is geared up towards, I mean, it's like the company has to market to the shareholders to convince them to stay invested, and once we get into finances, it's all fake. The whole system is fake to an infuriating degree. Mm-hmm. I cannot stress to you how bad it is. It's weird. But yeah, I mean, I don't think any system of money can survive without some type of morality.
Absolutely. I mean, I just think that when you get to a point where you are actively making money and you are living just a great life, that should be it. To have so much money you don't know what to do with is a huge moral problem. It's a moral quandary for me, at least. First of all, I wouldn't not know what to do with that money. I'd be like, listen, I got myself a nice car, a nice house, my family's taken care of. Let's give to some the natural course is philanthropy, right?
Yeah.
And I heard that for the most part, to solve world hunger, you would need $120 billion, and that's easily kind of if you put our top 1%.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. It is absolutely crazy. Connor, appreciate it. Thank you. And yes, Pep is always drinking banger drinks. I don't know what he got today.
It is creamy root beer by Ziffia.
Ooh.
0 sugar. Or during important days, parts of the day. Toki, also known as time.
And
So a lot of
Connor's grandfather drinks that.
Oh, nice. A lot of friends have been learning Japanese, and it's been quite awesome, actually. Like, I mean, also I'll name them off. Cal has been learning Japanese, and it's been interesting to kind of like play Apex Legends. And then there's a Japanese name, and he's reading it. I'm like, what the fuck, Jesus. Okay, Cal. Where is Then Fall Sidious? The veteran.
I'm not allowed to learn any language until I learn Spanish. But my goal is actually always to learn Spanish and Japanese at the same time.
¿Tú no hablas español?
Not enough. I mean, if I'm surrounded with it, I actually can understand most things, which is kind of freaked out Bree when we first started dating. Because I actually did try to learn it, years back, and I just never immersed myself in the culture, and so certain things just won't stick with you. But I could read it pretty well, and understand quite a bit. Dropped it for, I don't know, 5 years, something like that. And so we went and visited her family down in Tecate. And they're all talking, and I'm like, all of a sudden it clicks and I can like understand them. It was weird.
Are you still down for me to buy a load of UK snacks on Amazon and I'll send them to you?
I mean, if you wanted to, I would happily try them, on stream, and we can make a video of it.
The only question is how to. So Connor, if you could send us a whole bunch of them, like Amazon links, that we could add to a wish list, then do it that way. Because I wouldn't want. Oh, great. Are you back? Am I back? Was it you? Was it me?
I seem to be fine.
I didn't drop any frames.
Neither did I. My screen just changed, and you were like, "Oh, great."
Oh, so yeah, I wouldn't want you to spend too much on the shipping fee. So like, we can add some UK snacks on Amazon wishlist, and then you can take care of it through there. And then once we get it, we can get together and do a live stream, excuse me, of us trying them. And then, yeah, it'll be dedicated to you. Damn, my locks are getting there. Anyways, can I give you recommendations as well to add to your wish list? Yeah, absolutely. Just send those over to us, and we'll add them to our wish list. All right, it's time to read Then Fall Sidious by Olivier Blake. Olivier.
Yeah, mine just says OLVIE.
Yeah, it's OLIVIE.
Okay.
Why don't we... Oh, wow. Okay. Why don't we go by section instead of 2 paragraphs? Because it seems like it is the cadence right here. A couple of paragraphs. All right. So I guess I'll read this first one, and then you can start with 10. Keegan Monster says, "Love the channel, y'all. Thanks for the show." Absolutely, Keegan. Thank you for tuning in and giving us your support.
Yeah, always appreciate it.
So this one is called Then Fall Sidious. It is read by Sam Witwer in the audiobook version. And for this version, the Dyad version, will be read by
Yours truly.
Lee and Carter. So the story starts as
Well, I mean, can we get some more sinister music?
oh right. Let's see.
Because it feels like I'm waiting for like I'm in a Gran Turismo 3 lobby.
Okay.
I'm
This
gonna
one
take you
says-
for a ride.
This one says spooky. Does that work?
Yep, that works. Let's go.
All right. The story starts. The galaxy never chose me. Why should it? Power bends to mastery, not destiny. Instead, I called for triumph, and the stars themselves obliged.
Perhaps now they call him the chosen one, as they once did you. Is that what crossed your mind when you saw him standing over you? Your death, a promise. I clicked off. Promise of his hands. I must admit, it is a pretty story. The fates so graciously aligning. But hope is a pendulous blade, a slow-acting poison for what can come of it but pain. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. Bodies set in orbit by some benevolent design. Perhaps his elders have failed to teach him how I orchestrated the Republic's fall and watched its martyrs falter. That nostalgia that drives young Skywalker's rebellion is a myth, a foolish longing for a world that has never been. Before the Empire was not some tranquil state of nature, some golden halcyon peace. Before me was the tyranny of corruption, the despotism of politics fought among the margins, in the shadows. What I brought to light, I did not to subjugate, but to rule. Because I have been inside the monster. I have seen its heart for what it is. The nature of all beings is entropy itself, a slow but certain decay. Peace is the rebel's claim, born from trance-inducing dogma meant to stifle more enlightened threats. But what is love but weakness? An illusion, a trick of the unfocused mind. In this, the Jedi are correct to remove themselves from its temptation, to isolate their young. What is it they say? There is no passion, only serenity. No chaos, only harmony. How restful the indoctrination to mediocrity. How eloquent the reluctance to do what it takes to lead. Good. Greatness calls for something sharper, born from something more than anesthetized subservience. Humanity is nothing. It gives us passion that drives achievement, strength that arms us with clarity, to see bounds of servitude forged by such perilous smallness of thought. What is a prophecy but doom to the same cycle, unable to break the chains of the world it was born to save? What is a legacy but the invocation of ghosts? This boy is on the brink of death. He cannot understand what I would have ultimately shown him. That love is a powerful soporific, and peace an unequivocal lie.
9. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. Only perhaps it would pain you both to hear that you do not resemble him at all. I remember you as you once were, or rather, I can still taste it. The anger that gave you focus, the hatred you have always felt, the violence you craved but you were denied, the chance at victory over death, which you chose not from wisdom, but from desperation, the rage you were told never to wield, that gift that I alone would give you, freedom. without which you might never have been great. You, the chosen one, you needed me, need me still. It is symbiotic. This thing between us, the push and pull of master and apprentice, together, a dual-sided weapon of the Force. There can be no dominance without power, no greatness without control. Our bond does not live on a foundation of fidelity, on the paltriness of oath. I raised you from the ashes of your pain. I built you on the backbone of my vision. I remember you as a boy. I watched your career with great interest. The fresh grief newly cleaved from your mother, a simple flaw, the sliver of a weakness your mentors recognized for the danger that it was. They tore you from the only safety you had known, and then they told you to be grateful. They told you to be peaceful and yet mistrusted you, letting fear make a mockery of their own code. I remember you, so hungry to learn, so desperate to matter, to fulfill some shallow mythology of yourself, the one who will bring balance to the Force. How quaint, how precious, as if the Force is something to be audited by blood alone. What a mantle they placed on you, and yet withheld from your own grasp. How eager you were, how trusting, how corrupted by insincerity and lies, how tormented by the loss they did not allow you to feel. Born a slave with untold power, and still so unwilling to overthrow your masters, it did not surprise me when I called you to my side and you knelt.
A Jedi, he says, like his father before him, resembling you most now that nothing is left in him but pain. I honor it, sanctify it in its own way, by personally seeing to its destruction. When he is gone, we will continue on unchanged. Another so-called chosen one will be born and die. The suns will rise and set on ruination, moving on as time has always done. You will be more mine than ever after the death of your son. Without him, your legacy will have to lie with me, beside my deeds and with the Empire. Such pain, I can feel it even now. You have been my right hand for so long that I can feel your fingers clenching, burdened with the misery that has always been yours. You are no stranger to pain, Darth Vader. It is as much a part of you as your connection to the Force, or the taste for darkness in your veins. What world could the Jedi have offered you that you would have accepted? Harmony, balance, order. What inconsequential nothingness is that to a boy without a mother? To a man who has loved with such precious sparsity, only to watch all that he loves die. Your truth is that you are weak no matter what you do, regardless of what you choose, because even before you came to me, you were already broken. I've tried to make you great, and I have done so. As much as I could have done for an apprentice still in subservience to ghosts. Do you think I, who have done what no Sith or Jedi before me has done, cannot feel the basic substance of your soul, your remorse, your regret, your guilt? I allow it because it empowers you, feeds the hatred I need you to feel. But I tire of the flavor. There is something in you that remains eternally undecided. The mark of a man who was chosen, but never truly chose.
Keegan says, dang, you can really hear the influence of Plagueis in his ideology. Yeah. Also, I chose spooky, and now it's this, but... 7. He is dying now, Skywalker. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. So he chooses not to break, but to shatter. There is valor in that. It will lie interred with his bones. I must admit that I cannot enjoy it. The feel of him giving way beneath the power I possess. To call upon the dark side now is still not without its demands. Ooh. I still must channel my own malice, my fury, my wrath, and my contempt. The shame of such a crushing disappointment. The rot that is my enmity, my growing resentment of stagnant bond I've tied to you. Because you do realize, of course, your inconsequence had Skywalker given in to his hatred and chosen me. There can only be one master, one apprentice. I do not forget the significance of this, the constancy of violence. Present at all times between us is a stalemate only compromised by death, yours or mine. Heavy is the crown, and yet worn only by the apprentice who outlives the master. For all those with whom I've shared the secrets of this power, I alone have lost it. I alone know what it truly means to win. The power of the dark side is like holding lightning in a bottle, like trapping the galaxy between my hands, as I have always done. I am a vessel of stellar fusion, of unlocked secrets of the Force that I have shared with you and kept from you. You cannot yet imagine the mastery I hold, the power that will only be yours when I allow it, when I condone it, which perhaps you are beginning to realize will be a day that does not come. I'd just like to point, I am a vessel of stellar fusion. Woo!
Bars. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. A man I resurrected from nothing, who, without me, would be nothing once again. I am gifted with clarity, more so than power, that I earned, shaped by my two hands, and the mastery of the dark side that I so carefully harnessed. But before I became Darth Sidious, I was not without my blessings. Not prophecy, but perception, vision. If I have a destiny, it is hand-wrought like a weapon. It is a map measured by insight, by certainty, and obsession. I can see a being for what they truly are. Take Padme Amidala, for example, whom I trusted to craft her own tragedy, and so she did. Even the virtuous will compromise their ethics in moments of fear. The question is never if they will betray themselves, but when, and how soon. Thus, a life spent fighting tyranny still launched an empire. How ironic that the legacy of the Republic's greatest champion would be my reign and you. That one just hurts. Bro, you ain't gotta do it like that.
There is a taste in my mouth. Metal, iron. Wow, he's Scottish now. Iron. Iron. A coppery wash of salted blood. Without passion, there can be no power. Without chaos, no control. Without pain, there is nothing. I am human. I am the vessel. I am the answer. I am the blade. Like his father before him, Skywalker says, this, the final legacy he claims, and yet I, who hold his life in my hands, was never so prettily chosen. My fate was never written in the stars. Stars die, and so do saints, so do cowards, but I am hunger. I am wrath, and by my own hand, I am divine. What can come next but drudgery? Rebellions are no small thing. The idea of mutiny, should it succeed in any way, cannot be unplanted. It will have
Your
to
force
not...
is strong with this one.
Stanzi subscribed to the Dyad.
Hey. Thanks for subscribing,
Welcome.
Stanzi. It will have to not only fail, but be decimated. Many will die. The brutality of this does not delight me. Despite the meritless qualms of the Jedi, the dark side is not a simple matter of carnality or lust for blood. If I wanted nothing but destruction, I could call it forth at any moment. Already, I extinguish planets with the motion of one finger. Uh-oh, something for verses. I can drain a young man of a long life for little more than the inconvenience of standing
With
in
that
my
line,
way.
and then your voice is like, it's just a more masculine Frieza.
But power is not violence, even if it requires violence. An empire demands stability. This is what the Jedi, with their foolhardy promises of justice and morality, could never have successfully delivered. There is no justice. Good men suffer. Bad men triumph. The way of the universe is not some unachievable balance from which only peace will remain. Inevitably, the masses will be disappointed, and from that unrest will only rise more unmasterable chaos, like the turn of a tireless wheel. What others do not understand is that strength is not a fist, but a burden. I will do what must be done to make this galaxy great, because it is what I am called to do. Because I came of age in a world of stone and left it in one of gleaming marble. Because I chose this crown, forged it myself when no one else could bear it. Because I have chosen impossibility. Ooh. Because serenity is not where the human lives. Because I was born not with prophecy, but with vision. I told you once that all who gain power are afraid to lose it. But I lied, because this thing in my chest isn't fear. It's faith. You can do the next two.
Damn it. When he is gone, you will carry the body. Perhaps this thought is just occurring to you. I feel it, like a glimmer from my periphery, a blur in my vision, a stirring in my chest. It is disorienting. The sudden movement, because I have always been undeterrable, unshaken. It is this that calls me to lead, this that spurs me onward, the steadiness of my pulse, my certainty of greatness. Where others would falter and err, I am immovable, unmoved. Others have failed this world with their assailability and impermanence. I am clear-eyed and enduring. I will not do the same. But the taste on my tongue, it's richer now, different. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. But no saccharity of goodness could ever be your flavor. Yours is pierced through with causticity, bitterness with no release. The constancy of your suffering, the tribal drum of your rage remains, but the timbre of it is different, raucous, changing, realigning from fragments, futures joining up with pasts. It does not grow louder, but deeper, illuminating from the marrow, coalescing like a cord. Your brokenness, should I have feared it? From the viscera of your power, I can sense a key is turning. Crackling at your margins is a rapid burning flame. It is an old wound, vestigial, dormant in the fragments of your secrets. The irreparability of your truths. It is fear. No, it's agony. It's terror, wonder, awe. It is loathing and revulsion, heartbreak and despair. It is raw and it is rapture. It is ecstasy. And I, like all your masters, have missed it. It is not good or evil, light or darkness that made you and unmade you. It is love and it is grief.
This song, though, again, King. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. Is this what you are made of, my apprentice? After all, you are flayed and hollowed out with tenderness that softens your purpose, vines of tired grace like dormant weeds to strangle your resolve. It does not make you strong, the invocation of your clemency, but it has made you volatile. I can feel it in you now, the change, the rift, but there can be no outlet for your agency, no salvation for your change of heart. So there is goodness in you. My hearty congratulations. It will not save you now. Perhaps I was wrong to think you broken, but not wrong enough to deny the cracks that yet remain. You crave the peace you were once promised, but it is a peace you will never be allowed, not in this lifetime or the next. Not with your choices or your losses, not with your unwavering regret. Yours, gosh, Scottish again, yours is a prayer left eternally unanswered. Even now, as prophecy lies once again before you, can you say the fate they offered you could have ever been enough? No.
No.
No. This can't you see? It's your tragedy, and now mine. The stars that call for you, that crown you with the dulcet lies of destiny, bartering your freedom for your happiness from the start. Their promise of balance has always come at the price of your precious so-called peace. The stars, they will not redeem the life they stole from you, because unlike me, they are inconstant. What will be mine can possibly absolve you. What world but ours can satisfy you? Prophecies will remain indifferent to your losses, unfeeling to your pain. The stars do not chart your course, or mine, Lord Vader. They are ever changing, ever lies. You may try in the midst of suffering to change your path, but you forget that I am constancy, I am victory, I am ruination, I am fate, I am hunger, I am fury. Death is not an answer. Death is not deliverance. With as much death as you yourself have witnessed, do you not already know it? That there is nothing after death but emptiness and loss. No act of redemption can rewrite the blood on your hands. No martyr's end will cleanse your sins. What choice is this, love over life, when all it means is strength forfeited and legacy forgone? My power is not yours to take. As a vessel, you will not survive it, and so the only answer left is doom. Tell me, O chosen one, do you dare strike the divine? When I am gone, there will only be darkness. Cut me down, and all you leave behind is unfinished glory and an empty throne. The strong will always emerge, and the weak will always be subjugated. Some other father will die at the hands of some other son one day. The way of the galaxy is the turning of a wheel with only power left unchanging. Heroes come and go, your story readily forgotten. A Jedi, he says, like his father before him. So be it. There can be no turning back from here. If this is your fate, what was your purpose? If this is your choice, what was your meaning? If this is your end, what was your story? What will they say of you? Anakin Skywalker, you are dust and gone. When you are dust and gone.
What is a legacy? I am the one who will decide.
And with that, that is Then Fall Sidious, as read by the Dyad and the Force. such a chilling and almost erotic, I'm just kidding, a chilling monologue from Sidious in the moments before his fall. This is like something that I never thought I needed to hear. You know, you watch Return of the Jedi and you're just like, yo, let your hatred fuel you. And he's just like, one note, right? You're thinking about what Vader's thinking about.
For your lack of vision.
Yeah, you're thinking about what Vader's thinking about, because he's just like this. He looks at Sidious. He looks at his son again. No. No.
That, I will say that was an unnecessary add-on, but yeah.
But yeah, it's awesome to think that like he's always been like that. In the moments leading up to Vader throwing him into the shaft, he's like, no, this is not what is going to happen. I'm going to win. You know? And it's so, man, Olivia Blake. That was some good writing.
Man. Like some of those, I mean, he thinks so highly of himself during this whole thing that it's, I don't know, it's just beautiful. I love it.
Absolutely. One of my favorites from the Return of the Jedi FACPOV. Especially if you listen to the audiobook version and you get Sam Witwer, he goes hard as Sidious. As he should. He always goes hard with his voices. But yeah.
What he says about Padme, though, like, it hurts, you know?
It's savage. I wish I could play the soundboard here. Oh my god. Don't you know I'm a savage?
I mean, how it ends. Thus, a life spent fighting tyranny still launched an empire.
Yeah.
How ironic that the legacy of the Republic's greatest champion would be my reign.
Because of Obi-Wan.
Possibly.
I mean, all this started with him using her as a pawn to launch a vote of no confidence to Chancellor Valorum.
Yeah. You just start this. You start, as I keep saying in the recent months and weeks. You start this infinite regress of the events that caused Star Wars to Star War, and you get like, I always say, you always go back to Qui-Gon being like, "Promise me you'll train the boy," and Obi-Wan is like, "I will, but I will fail." That's a what if he said that, if he were true. A lot of people blame Mace for being for being strict.
For no reason, honestly.
Yoda for not preventing everything from happening. For not knowing or not having the omnipotence to have prevented it. And I keep on reminding people, Yoda said, hey, the council does not agree with you training Anakin. And this is for the people who are like, they should have not trained him then. Like, well, they didn't want to. You know? Qui-Gon wrote them into a corner. All right. Now comes the segment where we're a little bit harsh. Stanzi, if you're in the chat, if you want to call in for this segment, go right on ahead. But it's time for us to react to the Tickety Talks. And let's see. It's playing right now, and I need to pause it.
Kaylee! Kaylee!
Where is...
아 귀여워! 케이지!
What?
오늘 되게
Okay. Let me hide this while I go into my DMs. Oh wait, I can't. Dang it. I have to go into my DMs live. All right, well, whatever. I'm not hiding anything.
Kaylee!
Let's see. Stanzi sent me something to react to. We're gonna react to that.
Kathleen Kennedy.
This already. This caption
Woo!
is gonna be so
All right,
hard.
let's go.
Bro.
Let's go.
Stanzi says, "I'll call in 10ish if you still want a guest." Hey, we're reacting to the video you sent right now. So, do you want us to hold off on that, Stanzi? Do you want us to react to this when you're on?
Yeah, we can come back to it if you like.
Let us know. In fact, I could probably guess if you're gonna be back in 10ish, then we'll come back to it. So let's go to For You and search Star Wars.
Ezra Bridgers.
Okay, this one is struck work.
Okay, I was not expecting this to happen.
Struck work. This already?
Does anyone else think Ezra might be evil in this?
Chewbacca speaking English.
Okay. Let's try this. Let's see.
Yeah, let's do it.
English is one of the weirdest things in all of Star Wars. Chewie was always intended to speak in his Wookiee growl. It was even one of the first sounds that they recorded for Star Wars back in '77. But on set, Peter Mayhew actually spoke Chewie's lines in English.
That old man's mad.
You said it, Chewie.
This was so the other actors could get the rhythm of the scene right. And Chewie's real voice was of course dubbed in later. Knowing that still doesn't make it any less weird to hear though.
We good.
Make my report!
Tell him we're leaving it.
All right. I'll tell him.
Chewbacca speaking
I mean,
English.
it is. Yes. Super weird.
I mean, I think back to the original trilogy because, like, they didn't know what Star Wars was when they were first making it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, like, I'm just picturing these people because, like, if you were cast as a stormtrooper, you didn't know how stormtroopers acted or whatever, but you're on set. You have this big old monster. He's saying lines and it looks weird. You have Darth Vader, who is a Scottish dude, being like, "Now take them away."
Yeah.
Would probably just feel super weird to see the finished product.
Oh, and especially as someone like as fans who have watched it first in its finished product, to see that scene where we watched it and the first thing we hear is and then like seeing that, he's like, "Where are you going? Tell them we're about to leave." It's so different. That's crazy. Darth Matt says, "Okay, on break. Can't jump on, but holy crap, great reading, guys. Seriously, great job. Thank you so much, man." Or Kenny. man 86. Thank you so much, man 86. All right, next one. Here we go.
Shots you thought were CGI but were actually practical, part 30.
Yeah. Isn't this CGI?
That was actual inflatable bread in The Force Awakens, and it took about 3 months to develop. What you had was deflated bread under the liquid, and then as the liquid was drained out, the inflatable bread inflated. Shots you thought were CGI.
It's good to
That's
know.
cool.
I always thought that was CGI, you know?
I knew it wasn't CGI, but I didn't know how they did it. I mean, I thought it might be something similar to that, but I always love that type of trickery, you know, in shots. I thought that it was bread that they actually baked and had rise and then green screened around it and had her in the background. That's what I originally thought.
Yeah, it reminds me of bread or it reminds me of the stage where you let it proof and it rises.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that would have been an interesting, implementation, is to kind of like put a camera in an oven that can take the heat.
Yeah.
And just kind of
that type of stuff is fascinating to me. I still maintain the best one though is from The Last Jedi when Luke makes the whole hut explode, and it was like all practical.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Oh, cool. An AT-AT.
Hey, Nick.
You know, I thought AT-ATs were much harder to destroy. What is that movie? Empire something? They were much harder to take down, right? Or is it AT-AT? It's an AT-ACT, not an AT-AT, not an AT-AT. AT-ACT. It stands for All-Terrain Armored Cargo Transport. They're much easier to destroy because they're not an AT-AT, okay?
Is that how we
I
sound?
am that fan.
Is that how we sound normally?
I mean, not the irritation. By the way, if you're not following Codename Fulcrum, Nick, amazing dude, awesome, awesome content. Absolutely follow him. That's probably how we sound. But I think we actively try to be nicer about it, you know. But like, I mean, that's literally what we're doing here.
Yeah, I mean,
right now.
we definitely don't sound judgmental. I think you know, there's several things that people can often get wrong about a few things, and we don't go, oh gosh, actually, like, you know, like recent memory, of course, was like, you know, the World Between Worlds. It's on everyone's minds right now, and there are certain takes that will pervade, and it's like, no, the World Between. I start like going off on a tangent, explaining what it is. But yeah, we are those fans. Sorry, everybody.
Putting on the
These are the dumbest things.
Okay, that one doesn't want to play.
Luke Skywalker is officially gay. Yes, Luke Skywalker is joining the LGBTQ.
You mean to tell me this guy is gonna be gay? This guy. He's gay? You mean to tell me the guy wearing tight pants, a turtleneck, one glove, and sometimes a cape, plus that haircut's gonna be gay? How dare they blindside us with such a reveal?
Luke Skywalker is officially gay. Yes.
Hold on. I get where this is coming from, but like, where is it coming from? That was the whole point. Because I think the only thing that we can point to is Mark Hamill saying if he's gay to you, then it's fine. It's, you know, Luke Skywalker is who you want him to be, right? During that interview.
Yeah, but you know what's crazy about that whole thing? Who cares? You know what I mean? I don't know. It's weird to me, like, how much people would be mad if he is canonically straight or queer or whatever, which is never covered. You know, he does have like a start of a relationship with two women, one in one of his books. They were both bad, but one of them, as well as in the Star Wars mainline comic, he also thought Afra was hot, which, I mean, is true, but obviously bark up the wrong tree. But at the same time, doesn't mean it is what you want him to be, and it doesn't matter either way.
Well, looks like Stanzi is in the wings. Let's get him in here.
Hello.
How's it going?
Did you guys hear the unbelievable news that jizz has been retconned in Star Wars?
Yes. We had talked about it last week.
I can't believe it. And Kathleen Kennedy should be fired. I can't believe this travesty happening to Star Wars. Personally,
like, I mean, if your childhood was full of jizz and now that's been removed, and kids
most of my
won't...
beliefs have been formed by jizz.
and yeah, think about the kids in the
awesome
future.
Admission.
Have you guys been enjoying React content so far?
It's been fun. It has been enjoyable, because normally I do this by myself as I'm scrolling in TikTok and going, well, that's wrong.
Yeah. I mean, Choco, as wholesome and happy and joyful and optimistic you seem in your videos and on lives, has anyone told you are a vicious attack dog on other platforms. Like when you're in comments, there's no camera on you. Holy shit, you go after people. You are worse than me.
If you listen, don't start nothing, won't be nothing. That's how I feel.
If you're wrong, you're gonna get called out.
Like I love how there was some guy on Twitter that was saying stuff about the sequels, and you were just like, you out of nowhere just burst in the door. You come in and say they were made almost 10 years ago. Stop whining. And I was like, damn, Choco? Like, is this the same guy that's like, I'm going to talk about some books that I'm really excited about, and we're going to talk about the lore and implications as I show you my little Tauntaun figure, everybody. Stop fucking whining, bitch.
Listen, I love the expanded universe, and it hurts me when I see people try to weaponize it against modern content. Like, oh no, I no longer have this book. Like, no one, homie, no one.
I think one of
the thing I always have to hold back is N-words. That's the hardest part. Because that's always just like, nigga, like.
That's what I see Mace doing a lot on Twitter.
Yeah.
He does not hold that in. He will go on tell people to eat his ass.
A lot of people have latched on to a particular part of our React video, which was when Choco says he is getting it from the archives book, but he's misquoting it and is wrong a bunch. That's just the boilerplate response that we need to just
that was
formulate.
a really funny response. That was as respectful yet also savage as I've seen him.
I've made a long-term commitment to like be up on all the sources on things just so that I can be like, I'm sorry, I know what you're trying to quote. It's not that.
Did you guys try out the video that I sent you guys already?
No,
what are you here for?
Wait for me? Oh my god, I feel so special right now.
All right, let's go to it.
A thing I always mean to pull out though is one of my favorite quotes from early
Kathleen
Family
Kennedy.
Guys. And it's when Brian goes, "Oh, you read that in a book? Don't you mean nothing?"
All right. Well, you can already tell from the thumbnail and the caption this is going to be a doozy. So let's doozy it up.
Yes, friend.
Kathleen Kennedy, the president over at Lucasfilm, is having a rough 365 days. She released the Obi-Wan Kenobi series that flopped and called everybody racist for not liking that Reva character. Then she released the Willow series where she put a lesbian couple front and center and nobody watched it. All right,
that's
then she
why
released Mandalorian season 3, which had all her little fingerprints on it. We know because she put Bo-Katan front and center instead of Din Djarin like we wanted to. And now her Starship Cruiser that was based around the new trilogy of characters for Star Wars is being shut down. It was a hotel that cost $6,000 after they spent $2 billion on it. Couple that with the fact that her Indiana Jones film right now debuted at the Cannes Festival over in France and is getting roasted across all of the media. Now, if this was a man, he would have already been fired. The problem is with hiring women to be in these positions of power, optically it doesn't look good when you have to fire them. Nobody cares if a man gets fired, right? We're disposable. Kathleen Kennedy, the president.
What the hell is even this?
You what's funny though is you can tell this
if she
this
was
person,
a man, nobody would be making this video.
If she was a man, you wouldn't blame her for the choices that Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni made for Mandalorian season 3. Like, oh, because Bo-Katan's a girl, that means that Kathleen Kennedy wrote and shot the whole season?
I think we can all appreciate that the reason Willow flopped is because it had a lesbian couple in it, not because it was a Willow project.
Well, I mean, like, gosh.
Who was waiting on bated breath for Willow? I want a single person.
Honestly, I was excited for it, but I haven't watched it yet. So I don't know. I can't comment on it. However, I feel like nowadays there has to be something that's wrong with the project behind the scenes versus the project being just wrong. Like, I feel like if I'm going to watch Willow and it ends up being bad, 9 times out of 10, I'm probably going to say it was a pretty bad show. Like, It has nothing to do with any specific detail, like a lesbians being front and center, or the fact that apparently Mandalorian season 3 has Kathleen Kennedy's fingerprints all over it. Like what kind of detectives? How did you sleuth this?
Yeah.
Because she has her fingerprints on everything as an
caption.
executive producer, right?
Misspelled Bo-Katan, misspelled Din Djarin.
Listen, she has her fingerprints everywhere.
If you didn't watch Willow because there was lesbians in it, then you're homophobic. Then that's a you problem. Yeah. But you know these people would be like, well, no, don't call me that. We just don't want you to have these people in stuff ever. I don't know, man. It's wild. That whole thing
I love the argument that the reason Kenobi flopped is because they called everyone racists, which is the most insane misconstruing of events I have ever heard. Like,
the
that
most
is
insane
alternate
misconception
universe.
is that Obi-Wan Kenobi flopped.
It didn't flop.
It didn't
That
flop.
was a double wrong thing. It just, like, in quick succession. How do you string together two incredibly wrong things and your head just doesn't explode like that?
It exploded. That's why I couldn't even fathom what this video was. Like, if a show isn't that great, if a show we have criticisms of means it flopped, then everything has flopped in the history of cinema and television, because we all have criticisms of every single show. But the fact that it's not like the best thing in the world, or that we have criticisms over its writing, pacing, whatever, means it flopped. It's like the same argument we run into with the sequel trilogies. Like, these films flopped. No, they made over $4 or $5 billion. There's no flop in it. You just don't like either the movies or certain decisions they made. You have criticisms over their writing or their story beats. Whatever the case may be, they are not objective flops. They made money. Obi-Wan was a good show. I have problems with it, but it is not a flop.
Obi-Wan got better viewership than The Mandalorian's first 2 seasons. So did those 2 seasons flop?
No.
I think that the racism argument is the one that irks me the most.
It definitely does.
It definitely outs the person saying that argument more than anything else, because what happened in reality, in like our dimension, not this fantasy world that this person's living in, is that Moses Ingram, before the show even came out, was receiving a ton of hateful and really racist messages, calling her a diversity hire, all that stuff on Instagram. And Star Wars, for once, it was nice to see them stick up for Moses and say, hey, if you're doing this, cut it out. It's not cool. And they even made it a little cheeky by saying, like, hey, there's millions of species to be in Star Wars. Don't choose to be a racist. I thought that was as, cheeky as they could have been about it, without saying, stop it with the fucking racism. You're giving us a bad name. Like,
also the logical continuity of people lighting a signal flare under their butts themselves. So when Star Wars specifically calls out racist behavior, it says you're racist for having a problem with Reva and calling her all these names and being racist, and then your takeaway from that is you're calling us all racist. No, you're calling yourself a racist at that point, because were you the one there? Are you
a hit dog will holler?
Exactly. In order to even do cleanup for this PR, then they had Ewan McGregor film himself saying exact words, I'm pretty sure, if you do this, you are no Star Wars fan of mine. Mm-hmm. If you are one of the people that are sending racist messages, you're not a Star Wars fan to me. Which I thought was the most bare minimum thing we can say. But instead, people then turned on him as well, saying, wow, he thinks that all Star Wars fans are racist, which made me believe that he must be speaking some other language that I have not fully comprehended as part of English. Because I understand he's not American, but that was a totally different language that someone else heard. Because what I heard sounded pretty spectacular, saying, hey, don't be racist. and everyone else seemed to hear, so you're calling all of us racist? Which I will never understand.
It's the, it's the people, like, it's you get combative because there's an air of truth to it, right? So when someone is talking about feminist issues and they're like, man, men are such dogs or whatever, and you're like, not all men, I'm not, like, you don't have to defend yourself. If you are not that person, you don't have to light that signal flare. You don't have to call yourself out.
Men are dogs. It sucks.
That's it. And in this case, when Obi-Wan is like, if you're being racist, you're a racist. And they're like, but why am I a racist? I'm like, nobody called you racist. Are you being a racist? Because that's the criteria right there.
That's your conscience speaking to you, sir.
Yeah.
I've always, I remember back in undergrad, I would, like, stupidly put myself a lot more into those discussions of, like, people discussing more of civil rights and me feeling attacked of, like, are they talking about me? And it took a long time for me to come to the enlightened realization that when someone is talking about social issues that you are not guilty of, you look at it and you say, wow, that's wild. That's not me, though.
Oh, yeah. And then the whole Star
So the last
Cruiser.
thing... Oh, yeah.
It's her hotel. You hear him say that? She built it with her own hands.
Let's not even go into those details. It was always a concept. It was always an experiment. They said they were releasing it experimentally, and they found out that it is not profitable. Therefore, they stopped it. I think for the most part, business wise, they should lower the cost of entry and higher the cost of experience, and have a certain experience seasonally, so that you pay from $500 to $1,000 for the stay, and then there's certain experiences within the Star Cruiser itself that you pay additionally for, like if you want to go on like a hostage situation with Onaka, that's that experience you can go into. And we lost Choco because he didn't want to go on a hostage situation with Onaka.
He's being kept hostage by Hondo. It's an ARG, dude.
But yeah, it was always an experiment concept. It wasn't supposed to be profitable.
Yeah, I think that what we can all agree on is that the only way to salvage that hotel is that instead of having one LARPy experience, they should have done 4 LARPy experiences and put all of their resources into that. 1 for Jedi, 1 to be a Sith, 1 to be a bounty hunter, and 1 to be a smuggler of drugs. That would be the ideal scenario,
Spice.
right? That's what they should have. Yeah, well, let's
Contraband.
Spice is contraband. Yeah. That's the 4 things that they should have done. Instead of just create 1 LARPy experience, they should have made 4 of them, and each one should have had an acre of land devoted to it with a giant skyscraper built on that land, with 16-day packages.
What you're saying is way more
$20,000.
expensive.
No.
Are you back?
What? Man, anybody who would
Yeah.
have that take
Where's your
sounds
camera?
really out of touch.
Yeah. Yep.
Where's your camera? Is your camera just off?
They got him.
We just have a phantom voice.
This is odd because I can't hear Pep, but I don't believe I'm put back in the video here.
You are not. Leave and then come back.
He's been surpassed. I am now Choco. We have lost our diversity. So we have whitewashed the show a bit, unfortunately.
Are you white?
Yes.
I can't really tell straight off. You have
I've been told
you have a hint of black pepper and paprika.
I'm salt and pepper. I'm extremely Italian. I am generic ancestors drag their balls across Europe. Blend.
What?
Yeah. What's up, man?
What are you doing?
All right. We got another one?
Yeah, we'll scroll through a few of them. But I was going to respond to Stanzi's. The reason I want, well, it should be opt-in, right? Just like you said, there should be multiple experiences. People should be able to choose which one. Therefore, you don't spend $6,000 and you're like part of Ray's story, and you're like, I don't want to be there. So like you spend $600, $1,000 for a weekend stay, and then that is a space hotel, and then you pay for an experience, another like $500,000 for a pirate excursion with Hondo and Naka. And so you pay for that, and then a starship comes and picks you up and takes you away to another location that you have that experience with. Everybody else is still in their hotel, and then they have that base package experience. And so all of the other experiences you just opt in for, you pay for that ticket, and you get picked up by a starship, and then you go off on that adventure, so that like the barrier of entry is lower, and you're not spending all of the money to provide an experience for everyone, but to provide an experience for the select few who have paid for it, you know.
I think that from jump, the biggest issue with the hotel that made it cost that much money is the immersion aspect. Some people don't know this, but if you go to Disneyland or Disney World, and you look at any of the trash cans, those actually are not just trash cans. There is such infrastructure at Disney that those trash cans are actually chutes that go to an underground depository of trash. The reason that is because Walt Disney, or whoever, I think it was Walt, when he made the park, he did not want there to be an immersion breaking experience of you seeing a janitor walking around with trash bags. So instead, they literally built an infrastructure just so you wouldn't see that, where those are actually chutes that go to the acceptable trash disposal area. If you were to put that kind of experience in a highly centralized one hotel experience, that's not just actors you're paying, that's not just the decor, that's the maid service, that's the cooks, that's everybody who can't just be a regular hotel staff. They have to be Star Wars immersive hotel staff. You can't just get room service. You got to get alien, blue
you gotta
tentacled
get Dexter
head service.
Jetster.
You gotta get literally Dexter coming to your room.
You can't have a
in
cook
full
that's just there
animatronic, man.
oh, how do you want your burger? Well done, okay, here you go.
So
you gotta get someone that's hey, this is a Camino Saber dot, you know.
Exactly. And they had some
I'm
elements
from
of
New
that,
Jersey. Hey.
From all of those minutia and logistics, there was no way they could sell that experience at less than $6,000 because they weren't making any money off of it. You can't just have regular maids come into the room to empty your wastebaskets like at a regular hotel. You had to have immersive experiences. That from jump was the way this was not going to work. And no amount of opening 4 different LARPy hotel experiences like some other content creators, which just was the issue, is going to fix that.
Yeah.
No, you make a great point. And also, if you talk, I've talked to a lot of people who have done the experience themselves and paid their own money to go, and all of them have absolutely loved it. And so it's a weird thing because for what it is, I don't think it's overpriced. It is just a lot for the thing. You know what I mean? Now, my idea though was to make it, like you guys said, make it seasonal and make it storylines. And next season, though, is not hanging out with Honda Onaka. Next season is an actual pirate one, and it's Pirates of the Caribbean. And you get to go hang out with pirates and explore a dungeon or a cave or whatever like that. And then the next season is you are in Avengers Tower, and people are attacking it from the outside, and the Avengers come in and kick butt and save everyone. That sort of thing. That way you can bank more off of repeat customers, but maybe shorten the experience to a day.
Mm-hmm.
You pay, yes, but your hotel is actually 2 different hotel stays. This is the hotel, and then you come here in the morning and you have this incredible experience and even stay the night and then you're done with it. You go back to your main hotel that you're actually staying at. That would allow them to drop the price a bit.
Yeah, I think the bottom line here, what I'm getting at, and especially with knowing those friends who have done the experience and loved it, is that it wasn't a flop. It was just not sustainable. You know, the experience was enjoyable by all who went to and experienced it, but it is very expensive, so not a lot of people can do it. So for the most part, it wasn't really a flop. It's just something that they couldn't sustain at the price that they were. At that price, you don't have volume, and if you don't have volume, you don't have profit. So, yeah. What was the other thing that this guy seemingly thought? Indiana Jones, like.
This is right when Indy 5 was released.
Yeah. Okay, but. Again, neither Indiana Jones or Willow have the same power as Star Wars, and assuming that they do is always going to lead to disappointment. And once again, I do blame Kathleen for Indiana Jones 5 because I don't think the movie should have been made at all, because I don't see that as a sustainable franchise, because Harrison Ford is like 98 years old. I love him, but the problem is in the concept, not in Kathleen Kennedy, who has produced every Indiana Jones movie. Yeah. So if you like any of them,
do you mind if I challenge your belief a little bit on that, Choco?
Sure.
So
always.
I don't think it's exclusively Kathleen's fault, and I think it's hard to pin down whose fault it is. Because when you're an executive producer, especially in Lucasfilm, Lucasfilm is not the head honcho, Disney is. So Disney has its own investors and its own shareholders and its own board members, and even people that are technically below Kathleen Kennedy, but people she still has to answer to in terms of board members. They have the power to say, hey, Indiana Jones is a big tentpole IP for us as a company. So you, as the person, go make a movie, make us some money. Now, I think that is a plausible scenario. It may not be what happened. Absolutely. It may be entirely Kathleen Kennedy's fault. But I think to put blame when we don't have that kind of information is like not it, because it is totally possible that they were just like, you're in charge of this IP, you better go make something with it. Otherwise, what are we keeping you here for? And if you don't do it, we'll find someone else who will.
Yeah, for me, that was just like the most thing I could possibly blame her for. Mm-hmm. But what's crazy is because he's like, if she was a man, she would have been fine. No, you didn't like the movie. I don't see you blaming James Mangold.
Yeah.
Did you blame the writer or the director? No. You're blaming Kathleen?
And he said in the end that men are disposable? What?
I don't even think feminists would say that.
Like, dog, are you okay? Do you need a hug? What was her name, and was it Mother?
Not only that, but, like, it's the exact opposite, where men can direct or write something and have that be as mediocre gets, and no one cares. That's okay.
But when it wasn't amazing,
thing, wasn't bad.
When it's a woman-directed thing, if it's even slightly mid, this is why they're putting women in power, man. They're putting these agendas in. That's why they don't work. Why don't they listen to us?
Yeah.
I mean, Patty Jenkins, I feel bad for her because, Wonder Woman 1, big hit. Wonder Woman 2, not as good. And people are like, well, we should just never have her direct anything again as long as she lives. And you're like, what? That's a overreaction, I think,
And it goes beyond gender, of course. I mean, obviously this is a big aspect of what we're talking about because gender does play a part in it, but it even goes beyond that. I remember when Game of Thrones was really big and happening, and everyone was super excited for the final season, not knowing what was coming. And then they said, oh, by the way, we're looking at getting the Game of Thrones guys to make a Star Wars. And everyone was like, yeah, definitely. Those guys know what they're doing. Immediately after Game of Thrones, there was a petition to have them removed from the project. I think audiences in general are
very fickle.
Super fickle. You do one bad movie, one bad project, they will never want you to work again. When Boba Fett was brought back in Mandalorian, everyone was like, Robert Rodriguez? That's him? Oh my god, he made Spy Kids, he did Boba Fett, but that was the best Boba Fett show I've ever done. Like, he just came in, he shot people with his kneecap, it was crazy. As soon as Book of Boba Fett came out, everyone fell out of love with Robert Rodriguez.
Exactly. That is a great example because everyone praised Robert Rodriguez for that Mandalorian episode, and when Book of Boba Fett came out, completely done by Robert Rodriguez. So Kathleen Kennedy has her fingerprints on this, doesn't she?
To quote a friend of ours, they don't like stories. The part of Boba Fett that was a clip show, that was action-packed, where there's not much dialogue or character or development or change. Awesome. Give him a story? Hell no.
Listen, the best thing of Book of Boba Fett, and this is my hottest take, was the punk Power Rangers on scooters. That was the best. I love those guys. I want an entire series about them. They were the only thing that was colorful. They were his posse. He immediately had goons. That's great. That's a mark of a true crime boss. Not just when they're a crime boss, but when they have themed goons. Joker makes all... I don't care how big you are. I don't care how many big muscles you have. You're putting on a clown mask, idiot. You're doing that. Otherwise, you're not in the posse. Boba Fett was like, you guys are Power Rangers? I look just like one? You're riding with me. That's great.
I will never say anything against Drash because I'd like a show with Drash.
Is he the spin guy?
No, Scad is the spin guy.
Scad.
Drash is with the arm.
Oh, yeah. I don't know any of their names,
Just be careful.
I love them.
Be careful, Pep. She'll tear it off. Anyways. No, I saw them and I immediately said, this is the most George Lucas thing in the show, and I love it.
And I called them a mod squad.
Yeah. Like, but they're so colorful. That can't exist on Tatooine. No, that's the exact point. Like, these are teenagers in rebellion. So yes, they are going to keep their stuff clean to contrast the stuff that, you see goth kids on the corner, and they aren't trying to fit the aesthetic of the area there are. That's what they're rebelling against. Same with punk. Like, yeah, of course they're going to be the opposite of the environment that they're raised in. Like, duh.
They're teenagers with attitude.
Although, in my opinion, the best thing to come out of it was Nigabaka, or Chewblacca, as some call him.
That's going into it for sure. Let's find one or two more to react to. Star Wars.
Ezra Bridger's
we're skipping all of the struck work.
Okay, I was not expecting.
We saw that.
Does anyone else think
Chewbacca speaking?
Saw this.
Shots you.
Saw this. Saw this.
Putting on.
These are the.
Saw that. Not
Luke
watching
Skywalker is officially.
I'm so confused by this edit.
Anakin.
Is like the editor dry heaving?
Anakin's gone. I'm what remains.
Okay, I will say
They took a sad scene and made it vaguely sexual.
Whose pit bull was on the editor's lap growling for a dog treat?
It's so weird. I'm so confused.
No hate to the
This
edit,
is like
but,
heavy 2003 YouTube AMV of Sasuke and Naruto vibes.
Yes. All right, next.
Okay.
Holy fuck! That was diabolical.
Star Wars movies are made for kids, by the way.
That's great.
They are. But I love that scene from The Boys. That was great.
That's perfect.
Some people claim that there's a woman to blame, but I know nobody's fault. Some people claim that they're...
I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
You are part of the Rebel Alliance and a traitor. Take her away!
What's the caption? You don't know the power of the dark side?
I want to.
Okay, so am I the only one that like was watching the edit of the edit for the face tracking of the beginning makes it look like, and I know it's not, it makes it look like Rogue One CGI faces.
Yeah, it makes it look like AI generated.
Yeah. Very uncanny. But I suppose
what is with the preposition of like just putting these overly edited things that just like absolutely butcher like the original product. Like the music's too loud, the captions are in 3 different fonts, they keep appearing and reappearing with every word, like and you have to like face zoom and track it across. Like there's so much effort in there to make something that looks awful. It's like it hurts to
what
watch.
I say. Here's what I will say. There are some amazing edits out there. Granted, this was not that, but we don't know where this person is in their editing career, and if they're getting, the ball rolling by making really short Star Wars clips on TikTok, I applaud them.
Yeah, and they are popular. I mean, this one has over 130K likes, and it's because it's Vader.
They're female stormtroopers.
Saw that one. Jesus Christ. Oh my gosh, Sanji. Well, not Sanji, Zoro.
You win.
This is the trilogy we could.
Ew.
I know exactly where they are. I just heard their convo they had hours ago. These force fuckers can time travel.
There's a lot of wrong things in that.
Definitely a lot of things that were not from Disney.
Yeah.
Psychometry
What's wrong
was,
with y'all?
Psychometry was Quinlan
predates
Voss.
it. Yeah. Quinlan Voss had it. Plus, we had a whole, Kier from wrong book. I'm thinking of Force Collector, which is canon, but Sakir was from the Old Republic book, and he had psychometry as well. There's another Kafar.
I love the saying how psychometry is apparently too far for the space fantasy. Meanwhile, I know where Luke is. I can hear his disembodied voice. He's hanging off of the bottom of Cloud City, off of the lowermost antenna beneath all of the entire infrastructure. We should pilot the Falcon immediately below the entire city, right underneath that specific antenna, because that's where he is. I know now. I heard him in my voice, and that makes sense.
Okay, listen. The greatest Deus Ex Machina in all of Star Wars is the same movie, Empire Strikes Back. Luke has no idea where to go, and then Obi-Wan appears as a ghost for the first time. We never seen that could be a thing, and he's like, "Oh, you need to go see Master Yoda," and he's in the Dagobah system. Like, he tells him what he needs to do, where he needs to go, disappears, so that story can happen. Now, I love that scene, and I love the lore that it introduced. I'm not going to cry about it, but that's even more overt than the example he's trying to use here.
Absolutely. Force pulling his lightsaber is the first in Empire
I was
Strikes
just
Back.
about to say that, how like
Had
it's
never
weird
happened
how
before.
Leia can pull herself to a ship from the vacuum of space, but Luke just invents a force pull of his lightsaber to get out of that situation, the Wampa Cave. Like there was, at least at that point in the lore,
Who told him that was possible?
who told him? Who taught him that?
That was
Nobody.
not possible.
Luke's a Mary Sue.
Before then, we had sensing. We had double vision. We also had, deflecting.
Disembodied voices.
That's it. Vader and Obi-Wan fought in The New Hope and did not use any force powers.
I guarantee
except for him
Empire,
letting go and becoming one with the Force.
If Empire came out today and just first 20 minutes of the movie, this big climactic battle between Luke getting ambushed by a Wampa, and then he's in the cave, he's hanging upside down, he just goes, whoop, got it, woo, and he's like out, there'd be people clamoring for like their hands around George's throat, just saying like, what was that? What, you just invented that? That's not good writing. That's just bad writing, man. Like, they have their hands around his throat for that.
Yeah.
And Chuck always reminds me from Fatal Alliance. Was it Fatal Alliance?
Yes.
Satele Shan survives in space in a bubble of her own environment. She makes her own environment. And then in the prequels, we have destroy us. Let's make haste. Whoosh! The freaking force speed.
Like,
suddenly someone force pulling in the space is like the most impossible thing you can do in the Force.
Let me tell you, bad writing in Star Wars is never more apparent than beginning of the movie. Let's establish this power that lets them run in a straight line at super speed. Just a straight line down one hallway. End of the movie. We need to get down this hallway in some sort of timely fashion together, because there's obstacles that work on a timer that would block us. If only we had some sort of... Fuck, I can't think of any way that we get there. I mean, you're just going to have to run, I guess. the same movie!
The one that no one ever brings up, except I feel like I'm the only person who's ever pointed this out. But in Revenge of the Sith, the Jedi got trapped on the invisible hand pretty damn easily with the ray shields. They're like, why don't more people use ray shields?
This is true.
What happened? We're smarter than this. Yeah. You should be.
Right? And I don't know. So I feel like, because there's the anti-Holdo maneuver people who are like, this retroactively ruins every space battle. And you're like, does that retroactively ruin every time they're on a ship? Because why didn't they just put ray shields on it? But
and ray shields are a thing. We can just like point them and just say like, that specific tile of hallway, that's where we're going to enclose it. And make sure that both the people we're trying to get are standing really close together. Otherwise it doesn't work, okay? They have to both be running very close to each other along the same tile of hallway for the ray shields just go on that specific moment. There's so many coincidences for that to happen.
I say screw it. Install the ray shields sideways so they just clip people's legs when you turn them on.
Choco's looking to kneecap some bitches.
What are they gonna do?
All I know
security system.
All I know is, just like this video, if you try hard enough, you can find in-universe justification for anything, any kind of story decision. And in this case, they're trying really hard to make it seem like Disney was the only one to do some stupid shit. And some of it's not even stupid. It's just, it's stupid for pointing it out that it's stupid. It's the Force. It's there to be a plot device.
Yet I bet you all of them loved the hell out of playing Jedi Fallen Order, picking up objects and seeing their history, hearing the conversations surrounding those pieces.
I think that anybody that goes into specifically the Space Wizard franchise and says the space magic doesn't work to my realistic expectations is, by and large, doing the best bit of comedy they can possibly do in that scenario.
It's like conservative
That is
comedy.
pure gold. Yeah. It's the lack of self-awareness. Like, what movie did you think you were seeing?
Oh man! All right, one more.
I think I just found the worst Star Wars fan of all time. Star Wars is one of the strongest fandoms, but it can also be one of the most toxic. But there's one Star Wars fan that is way worse than the rest of them. The worst Star Wars fan was Jeffrey Dahmer. He often wore yellow.
I'm not watching the rest of this video. Oh man.
Bro, based. Cancel Jeffrey Dahmer. Get him off of TikTok. Ratio that guy.
Right. Well,
additionally, I would additionally like to add the guy that broke into Nancy Pelosi's house and hit her husband on the head with a hammer. Yeah, they went on his computer and found tons of like Last Jedi hate.
Wow.
Why didn't they see the signs, man? The red flags were staring them right in the face. They should have sent the Last Jedi hate to the FBI. Catch that guy.
I'm just saying, it's a red flag.
Yeah. Well, that'll do it for reacting to TikToks live. Thank you to Stancy for coming on and reacting with us to some of them.
Hey, thanks for having me.
We just had to like not finish, but it's okay. I think that'll do it for this episode of Dyad in the Force. Choco, do you have anything else to add?
No, that was fun. That was a lot of fun. It was wonderful. Thank you for coming on, Stancy. And yeah. Good times
thanks for having me on.
Of course, you're more than welcome to join every week. Next week we are doing a mix-up episode with anime with Freddy's roommate. If you yourself want to talk about anime, or if you've watched something recently that you want to talk about, feel free to call in at that point. And then the week after, October, we're starting Tales of Light and Life, and we're reading a story from that each week until we get to The Eye of Darkness, which introduces Phase 3 of the High Republic. Thanks to everybody in the chat for tuning in. Darthman, Connor, Ember Medina, and everybody else who lurked and stuck around for our reading of From a Certain Point of View. But that's the end. On to the next one.
For Light and for Life.
We are all the Dyad.
We are all the Republic.
We're all the Dyad.
Have a good week, fellas.
May the Force be with all of y'all.